Blocks the stages of cognitive development in children. Cognitive skills being those that the brain uses to think, learn, read, remember, pay attention, and solve problems. French psychologist Jean Piaget says the first is the sensorimotor stage, which covers a period between birth and 2 years. Now, during this stage, children learn about the world through their senses and manipulation of objects. A newborn is actually able to see close-up objects and can recognize certain smells and smile or cry to indicate a need. Now, the second stage is the pre-operational stage, which covers the years of between 2 and 7. Now, during this stage, children develop memory and imagination. They're also able to understand things symbolically and to understand the idea of the past and the future. Now, the third stage is that of concrete operational stage, which covers the years between 7 and 11. Now, during this stage, children become aware of external events. They become aware of others' feelings and become less egocentric. The next stage is called, let me just confirm so that I don't say the wrong thing. It is the final stage, and it is called the formal operational stage, which covers the cognitive development of children between 11 years and older. At this stage, children are at that formal operational stage. It hasn't come up yet. Can we get that up, Churchill, please? Well, at that stage, I will just move on with that. At the formal operational stage, the child is able to say no, and the child is able to use logic to solve their problems and plan for the future. And peer relationships are particularly important to them. Now, on psychological development, here is another psychologist, and his name is Eric Erickson. He's an ego psychologist, and he breaks down the stages of psychological development into 5. The first is trust versus mistrust, and that covers birth to 1 year. And the next stage is autonomy versus shame and doubt, and this covers early childhood, when the child begins to develop autonomy or a sense of self-worth and learns the power of the word no. The third stage takes place during the preschool years, and the child begins to assert their power and control over the world through directing play and other social interactions. And the fourth stage is industry versus inferiority. This covers the age between 5 and 11, and the child at this phase wants to experience accomplishment. Oh, there we go. The child at this stage wants to experience accomplishment, and successful navigation of the stage gives them a sense of ability and competence. Now, the final stage is that of identity versus confusion. And now this are the teen years, or the rebellious years, the turbulent rebellious years as they're referred to. And often in these years, children explore their independence and develop a sense of self. There you have it, the stages of cognitive development as well as psychological development of children. As I mentioned, with me in studio is Dr. Michael Miriri. He's a lecturer at the Kisii University, and he's a child psychologist of 15 years standing. Now, the first report we aired on the hashtag Minding Your Child had to do with social media and smartphones, and how parents should monitor what their children are doing on these devices. At what age, many parents wonder, should I give my child a mobile phone, their own mobile phone?
Basically, what I can see is that a parent should restrain from giving their children a mobile phone. There are several reasons why they are not supposed to give their children a mobile phone.
Wait, okay. You know, the parents will give their child their phone to play with. Is that okay? Let's start there.
Okay. I think what the most important thing is that, what should not happen is that you're not supposed to give your child a phone to play with, and then probably you move out, because you know exactly what the child will do with your phone. But basically, by and large, what I can say is that maybe they can pray for some minutes and so on. But what I can say, according to psychologists, is that we are supposed to emphasize more on the active leisure as opposed to passive leisure. Now, when you're talking about giving your child a mobile phone, that is actually categorized as a passive leisure. And what you have seen about the cognitive development, what you have just shown about Jean Piaget actually emphasized about active leisure, whereby the children are supposed to go there, play with other children, and also maybe ride a bike and so on and so forth. However, we have even seen that there are some children who have a tendency of watching cartoons from morning to evening. That does not mean that children should not watch cartoons, they should not watch movies, but that sedentary lifestyle of children actually being so passive should basically be discouraged.
Wait, so how does that affect their development? Both cognitive and psychological? Okay,
first of all, the research has shown that many children who have a tendency of watching maybe the video games and so on, they are affected cognitively, or their intelligence sometimes is affected. And apart from that also, I think the major is about psychological effect. They don't have a proper psychological health, so to speak. For example, you realize that many children who, especially during midterm break and also maybe during holiday, there are some children who have a tendency of watching maybe video games from morning to evening, watching TV from morning to evening. They have a tendency of developing stress, they have a tendency of developing anxiety, depression, and so on.
And what does that stem from? That anxiety, that depression?
You see, basically, some of the content that the children watch, like for example, if you start watching a video game, you know, your anxiety basically will actually rise up and go high. And apart from that also, you see even some of the cartoon, they are graphic in a way. Sometimes I like watching a cartoon also so that I can understand what the children are watching. But by and large, you realize that some of them are actually are graphic. And that is the reason why actually the rate of depression actually in Africa, especially in Kenya, let's talk about Kenya because we're in Kenya, it is actually raising up. There was a study that was done last year by the World Health Organization. Actually, the study was done in 2019. And the study indicated that about 1.9 million Kenyans out of 47.5 are depressed. That is about a prevalence of 4.2%. And the study also indicated that we are ranked 6th out of, we have 54 countries in Africa. Kenya was ranked 6th out of the 54 countries in Africa. And the prevalence of depression is going up. And one of the, I want to say that one of the reasons why the level of depression is going up is because of the this passive leisure as opposed to active leisure. Okay. Yeah.
Actually, Sheila Sandeo did a special on depression in Kenya. If you'd like to look it up, you can visit the @NTV Kenya YouTube channel. Now, you talk about that. Also, you're saying basically, if I understand you correctly, you need to monitor what your child is doing on their screen, and then limit the amount of time they spend on their screens. And so, at what age is it okay to give my child? You know, specifics. If you can give me. I see you're wearing a wedding band. Do you have children?
Yes, I do.
You do? Yes. So at what age did you allow them to access your phone, even with controls? And then at what age did you allow them to have their own mobile phone, and that way be able to chat with their friends on WhatsApp? In this day and age, we have Instagram. You know, at what age? Because I'm sure parents are particularly keen on that.
Well, okay. I know the parents are actually listening, but I may not have a prescription, a direct prescription or a microwave solution to that question. Basically, what you're saying is that parents are supposed to be responsible. What I'm not agreeing with is the question of you give your child a phone and you are not there. I think what you need to do as a parent, maybe as a way of advisor, there is a PIC, that is EPIC, actually is actually an international, American international organization that basically parent can actually prescribe, they can subscribe books, video games, and so on and so forth. And the good thing with the EPIC is that it is prepared by actually child psychologists are actually involved. But basically, for example, let's say, for example, if I give you this phone, my child a phone, like the phone that I'm having here, there's a WhatsApp, and you know nowadays people are even sending vulgar content, adult content, and there's a great likelihood that my child probably will scroll and see some content which is not okay. As much as maybe, that's why I'm not so comfortable. Okay, like you go to the kitchen, and then you leave me with the phone. The child can
understand where you're coming from.
Exactly.
All right, so you need to monitor what your child is doing on the device, but they can be used, as you said, as educational tools. You talked about PIC as a tool for learning.
Exactly.
All right, there you have it. Dr. Michael Mbiri focusing, honing down particularly on the use of smartphones and social media for children in the 21st century on